Guten Tag und herzlich willkommen auf meinem YouTube-Kanal German Made Easy from Scratch. Und heute werden wir über die Fälle lernen. Die Fälle bedeutet auf Englisch the cases. Im Deutschen hat man 4 Fälle. Man unterscheidet 4 Fälle, that you have 4 cases. Aber heute besprechen wir nur den Nominativ und den Akkusativ und nicht mehr. Zuerst machen wir ein bisschen über den Nominativ und das haben wir ein bisschen davon haben wir schon gelernt. It's a bit easier for you perhaps if I do it in English from now on in. So all the verbs as we've learned before had ich, du, sie, es and man. Wir, ihr, sie, and sie in front of them. I think you would all agree with that. We've learned that before. And some people will have learned that before anyway. But all of those are referred to as doers of the verb. So the ich is a doer, du is a doer, sie is a man. They're all doers. So anything that does a verb, be it a man, woman or child, person, or any object that does the verb, that is the nominative case. It's as simple as that. And when it comes to nouns, you have der, die, and das, and die in the plural. So in the third box, as I always say, where you get your nouns from, der, die, and das, and die in the plural, that's where you get your nominative case. It's the doer of the verb, and it can be the answer to wer, meaning who, or it can be the answer to was, meaning what. So wer ist das? Who is das? Das ist der Mann. That's the man. Was ist das? What is that? Das ist der Löffel. That is the spoon. Wer ist das? Who is that? Was ist das? What is that? And the answer to that is always going to be in the nominative case. So, der Löffel, der Mann, die Frau, das Kind, die Gabel. They're all nouns. And you have them with the. Der, die, and das. Remember, in the end, there are 4 words to mean the. Der, die, and das in the singular, and die in the plural, and they're all the. I'm just going to do a bit of an Übung now to make sure that you have understood all of that. Nummer 1, was habe ich jetzt? Mann sitzt auf dem Stuhl. And the pronoun for that would be sitzt auf dem Stuhl. Next one, Kind ist glücklich. Ist glücklich. Gabel ist in der Schublade. Ist in der Schublade. Okay. Now die Lösung bekommt ihr am Ende des Videos. The solution you'll get at the end of the video. Die Lösung ends in UNG or UNG. And that means that you can sort of guess at a word that ends in UNG could quite often be feminine. So die Lösung. And the ending in UNG quite often is a feminine word. We learn that gradually because it's too much to learn all at once. Jetzt machen wir ein bisschen weiter. Wir brauchen noch ein Verb. We need another verb. Und ich habe das Verb haben gewählt. I have chosen the verb haben. Now you could have used many other verbs for this purpose, but haben is the one that most people tend to use when you're trying to learn the accusative case first. We learn it first as a verb. Ich habe. Du hast. Sie, es, man hat. Wir haben. Ihr habt. Sie haben. And then the polite form, Sie haben. And as you know, right down the center line, you have du, ihr, and sie. And all those 3 mean you. So du hast, ihr habt, and Sie haben. And all those mean you have. You have to decide which one you're going to use in the particular situation yourself. Once you've learned that, we're ready to attack the accusative case. So, los geht's. The accusative case, unlike the nominative case, is the receiver. It's the object of the sentence. It's not the doer of the verb. Not at all. It's the opposite. It's the object of the verb. It's what the doer has done or received. For example, I can say, der Mann hat den Löffel. The man has the spoon. Der Mann hat den Löffel. The man has the spoon. What happened to der Löffel, you're asking? Der changes to den for the accusative case. Now listen up. Hört gut zu. The next one I'm going to look at a feminine word. Does that change? Die Frau hat die Gabel. No change. And the next one. Das Kind hat das Messer. No change. So then the only one that changed between the nominative and the accusative was the masculine one. So that makes it quite simple. So it's no big deal, it's kind of panic. Plural, what happens then? Nothing. For example, die Gabeln is the plural of die Gabel. Die Messer is the plural of das Messer. Die Löffel is the plural of der Löffel. So they all remain the same. Now some clever people, when they're in an oral exam, keep everything in the plural, so then they know they won't get it wrong. So there's a bit of a tip for you. Or we've learned the accusative of the, which is den, die, das and die. And we've learned how to use it. For example, it's the direct object of the sentence. It's usually after verbs that have a direct object. For example, I have the. There's nothing in between. The direct object. It doesn't do the work. It's just the object of the verb. So der Mann hat die Gabel. The man has the fork. Die Frau hat den Löffel. I want to remind you here as well, just because I'm feminine and you're masculine, or the reverse, or somebody is masculine and somebody else has nothing to do with the word at all. Nothing at all. And that's a huge complication people have in their heads if you're an English speaker. Now, people with other mother tongues don't seem to have the same problem, but English speakers tend to. We've got that much learned. We're moving on. What about the pronouns for those? Quite simple as well. Again, it's only the masculine one that changes. Now remember, in the nominative we had der, die, das and die. And the pronouns for those were, what were they? Er, sie, es, and the plural sie. So now we have to get a pronoun to suit den. Now remember, den ends in n. I think you all agree with that. I've overpronounced it because we said a lot faster out in the street, but I'm overpronouncing it so that you get it. I need to get a pronoun to suit den, and it's ihn. I-H-N. I-H-N. So you know that the masculine accusative has to end in n. So you have ihn for the pronoun for den. So say, for example, der Mann hat den Löffel. The man has the spoon. Then you want to be able to say the man has it. Der Mann hat ihn. Der Mann hat ihn. Now, if you want to say the man has the fork, der Mann hat die Gabel. Der Mann hat sie. If you want to say the child has the knife, das Kind hat das Messer. Das Kind hat es. So you know that the accusative for the right across the board is den, die, das and die. And the pronoun for your word, so you don't want to be repeating yourself all the time, saying the same word all the time. You want a pronoun instead. Ihn, sie, es, and the plural sie. It's as simple as that. And is it to have a nominative and an accusative and a verb, and you have made your sentence. You have got your thoughts across simply. The rest of your cases are only elongations of your sentence. But once you have a nominative and an accusative, you have made a sentence. So well done. You're nearly there. Few tips along the way is remember to always learn the word with, whether it's a der word, which is masculine, a die word, which is feminine, a das word, neuter. And to be aware that all your plurals are die. Also, to help your memory, never learn in isolation. Remember, for your pronoun for your nominative case, you have er, sie, and es, and the plural sie. And then, for your definite article for the, in the accusative case, it's den, die, das, and die. And then your pronoun is ihn, sie, es, and sie in the plural. It's as simple as that. You can't go wrong. But you do need to practice it. And you need a body of words. So you have to try and gather words together that are masculine, feminine, and neuter, and know them in the plural as well. So now, what have I from my Ausdrücke der Woche? What do I have for my phrases for the week? I thought this one, because this is the time I'm having my breakfast anyway. Ich frühstücke jetzt. I'm having my breakfast now. Ich frühstücke jetzt. I'm having my breakfast. And now, jetzt. Jetzt. Now remember that all J's are pronounced like Y's, so that means that jetzt begins with J. The next one. Ich mag Brötchen. I like bread rolls. Ich mag Brötchen. I like bread rolls. Die Lösung. The solution. Der Mann sitzt auf dem Stuhl. The man is sitting on the chair. Sitzt auf dem Stuhl. He's sitting on the chair. Das Kind ist glücklich. The child is happy. Es ist glücklich. It is happy. Die Gabel ist in der Schublade. The fork is in the drawer. Sie ist in der Schublade. It is in the drawer. Das wäre es für heute. Viel Spaß heute Nachmittag und genießt den Tag and enjoy the day. Auf Wiedersehen und tschüss.